You ever wonder why some racetracks are not even inhabited? And why doesn't Formula One hold the Grand Prix at Gunsai? Well, I've been wondering about this too. So in this video, I'm going to go through two of my favorite tracks. We're going to see why they've been tamed. It's not Gunsai Touge we're going to be checking out, but these two tracks might give us the answers of why Gunsai isn't on the calendar. I hope you'll have seen the video on why the Touge is much better than the racetrack and why I despise South Palm Circuit and Abu Dhabi and quite a lot of tracks. Let's get into today's video. First track. You see, it's my personal favorite and it means a lot to me because it was shaped by nature. It was one of the fastest, most dangerous circuits on the calendar. Well, it's not actually on the calendar because they changed this track and tamed it so hard that it's a whole new track. I'm talking about Imola, the same track that my hero died on because of engineers' sloppy work. Of course, you know I'm talking about Ayrton Senna. We're going to do a walkthrough, review the whole track. Prix 1994, San Marino, Imola. The video we're going to be checking out to review the 1994 San Marino, Imola, well, this video is from a really great YouTuber. He does Formula 1 content, Assetto Corsa, track reviews, all this stuff. A lot of stuff like this. Nicros51. Subscribe to him. Check out his content. He's a good F1 simulation driver. Start the race. Apparently Charles Leclerc is driving. Coming on the main straight and there's an initial slight curve to the left. And then comes the Tamburello corner. Most drivers are going 200 miles per hour here. When you enter the Tamburello corner, this is important, I need to talk about this. It's a very, very fast bend. Almost not a bend. Sit on the outside, come to the inside, but then it turns into a corner because the further you go, the tighter it gets. But you need to keep it floored. So you need to go flat out through the corner. So you take a racing line. But the inside line is so bumpy. You watch any onboard, go back to the 90s and 80s San Marino. You'll see at the Tamburello corner, Sparks for Christmas. And this corner tries to choke your soul out. As you go further and it gets much sharper of a corner, more than just a bend. And the outside has a gravitational pull. This corner wants your life. Flying through it like an absolute maniac, you go flat out into the peak of angle and then it spits you out at top speed. You pass 200 miles per hour. Then you go through a right hand bend and then it's a hairpin. Here's the thing, this hairpin is kind of mid-speed. It's not terribly slow like the one at Suzuka or the bus stop at Spa. But compared to the speed you've been carrying, I mean, you need to slow down a heck of a lot. Otherwise, you're not going to hit into that barrier. You're going to go over the stands. Let's move on. Uphill, crest, then there's a left-hander, mid-speed bend, and then it's downhill with another left-hander, and then this, one of my favorite parts, chicane on a downhill. Look how fast you have to change direction, and these curves, if you take them wrong, you're gonna be dead. Absolutely dead. I mentioned that when you go downhill or over a crest, the car gets light. When you hit an uphill, the car gains grip. You can take it flat out or just brake less maybe. Then here's another chicane. Not too aggressive. I like that chicane. I'm not a fan of the one at Spa, I'll admit. That very large chicane, you're turning around and then it's such a long angle. I mean, chicanes are not supposed to slow down a race to nothing and then you start back up again. It's supposed to be part of the harmony of the racetrack. That's why I love Imola. Left hand bend, slide downhill. Then it's a right hand on the downhill and then it's the left hand slower corner. That's a sharp corner. This is a very challenging corner because it's a right bend downhill. Starting your heavy braking on a right hand bend that's downhill. This track is just insane. There's not one bit of this track that is slow. Everything is demanding full speed and full concentration. It's crazy. Proof that the mountains designed this. Nature designed this racetrack. Then two chicanes before the start. Finish straight. Check out the video of why Touge is better than the tracks. See what I mean when I say nature designed Imola. That first bend, the Tamburello corner, my favorite part of the whole circuit. Well, it was destroyed. They put a very slow speed chicane right in the middle of it after Senna died. I mean, yes, Senna died at that high speed, hitting a concrete wall. I think the right course to make was to do proper inspection from the FIA on each car before going to race, so these sus engineers don't get away with nonsense. And I mean, really, concrete wall on a 200-mile-plus racetrack? Want to destroy the racetrack instead of just fixing the walls and the rules? Okay, a lot more was changed. There was also a chicane on this right-hand bend after the Tamburello corner. It was totally slowed down. One part that I do like though, from the new track, this corner is faster. It's not a double chicane. And then these last few moments, it's just straight flat out speed. No chicane on the right, no chicane on the left. You're just going flat out.
Listen, is he going to lift? No, he's not flat, is he? What a pathetic specimen he is.
And then
you
get
flat all the way along the main. Are you flat from there to there?
Yes, I can do that. It's frightening. Extremely frightening, but I can do it.
No, because you just, when you come around that way, you think, well, and you're aiming for that little orange.
Yes, there's a piece of orange, a convenient piece of orange in
which
the
you
probably
aim
where
for,
another car went through.
what you do, I find, is you get fixated on it.
Yeah.
And then you kind of pass the corner. You think, right, I'm still aiming for the orange, Oh my God, the corner's back there. And
Yeah. But this you can't see this very well on this map, but that's a very, very slight left-hand curve. But you're doing, I don't know, 500 miles an hour by the time you get to that. And the very act of thinking about the brakes.
Because just to be clear, when you brake a car at very high speed, unless it's going in a completely straight line, it will want to swap ends. So if you're going around a corner, you've got to stay off the brakes. In fact, you've got to keep on the throttle to keep the car balanced. And there is a corner there, and you have to brake while going round it, while doing, as James says, 500 miles an hour.
And the other thing is that this very, very slight left curve, if you just look at this diagram, I think, well, there's a very tight left-hander here, so you want to be over on the right to make the radius of that as big, but you don't, because you're braking, so you need to be on the left, because the very act of thinking about the brakes will put you on the right anyway. If you start off on the right and start braking, you'll be off the page. Hopeless.
It's a good track though, isn't it?
It's bloody fast.
That's what it's famous for. You're either going 3 miles an hour or 300.
Can I just take a moment, because I don't know if you know, this bit was added after the Senna accident, wasn't it? What was that like when that was one continuous bend? So you were doing 500 miles an hour and then you were expected to just go, oh yeah, around the left-hander a bit. Oh.
And still, well, you've been doing 700 miles an hour.
Absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, no, from there to there, pre the Senna accident, must have been one of the scariest pieces of tarmac anywhere in the world. It's pretty scary anyway.
I need to go and practice tosser.
Still want to know why it's my favorite? Then we come to Fuji. Fuji Speedway, one of the best places in the world, right by the most beautiful mountain. It's one of the best tracks, and it's in Japan. This is specifically the 1968 layout. This time it's a different YouTuber, same thing he's doing though. The channel is called Mitsos, if I pronounce that right. And apparently Sebastian Vettel is driving a Ferrari. That's a hell of a long straight. Couple bumps in the entry, and then it's a right-hand super fast camber. That's a big camber, like for NASCARs. It's also like the one at the old Monza. Straight. Oh, and then it's a slower bend. Oh, that can catch you out just like the one at Imola. Oh, that is much more aggressive though. And then it's left-hander immediately. You know how fast you have to change direction because you're at that high speed. Man, that's a fast left-hander. You know how bumpy this is. It looks bumpy. Imagine if you drove this. Then it's another right-hander. Then it gets more aggressive. Those barriers are trying to pull you to the outside. And then it spits you out onto the straight and immediately a slow hairpin. That's the slowest corner on the track. Straight road. Then it's a right hand bend downhill with bumps. Man, this would be so challenging. Then it's a right hand. Then it gets more aggressive on the exit. Oh, can you imagine Lance Stroll on this track? Although saying that, there are a few drivers I can imagine on this track. Ayrton Senna, I'm talking of all time, Michael Schumacher, Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, and many other really brave drivers, including Esteban Ocon. Yes, Ocon is not the best, but he's really brave. And actually, I think he's a tiny little bit underrated. I think we have the answer. Tracks like this have corners, undulations, cambers, and bumps that are simply too challenging. They prefer Abu Dhabi, I think. But like I said, if they just make barriers safer, take on the challenging track. Please put Gunsai on the Formula One calendar. Oh, imagine Fernando Alonso overtaking there. That would be amazing. Here's the thing though. One part of me is saying, yeah, you gotta understand, Jesse, when Lewis Hamilton's Mercedes was a porpoise queen, I mean, he didn't race bad, but after his race, he couldn't get out. It took him quite a while to get out. That's 7-time world champion. He's a hero. Formula One drivers are the most fit people on earth, and Lewis took a while to get out of his car. But then again, that was the car, because something like Singapore is very bumpy. But Lewis was fine after those races. One of Lewis's best races in his whole life was 2018 Singapore Grand Prix. Looking into it, it's not that said and done. The fact is, drivers do complain about street circuits, including Singapore and Baku, that are not paved like Silverstone. Formula One cars are the fastest mobiles ever made. Nothing can brake or corner as fast as them, but they're also made for a certain class of racing. I'm not saying that a Formula One car is supposed to also be able to do rally, but the fact is Singapore and Baku is kind of the limit. We can take a look at Gunsai Touge, do a review of the whole mountain pass. I think it's worth it. Building everything to host the Grand Prix at Gunsai Touge, yeah, that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother can of worms. We're not going to get into that now, that's not the topic. But just on the road, I think Formula One cars are not perfect, because a Formula One would not have all of its traction on a mountain pass. When you've got a perfect car, it's 100% balanced, it has all input total balance, and its top level performance can be done in many areas without compromise. Have your cake and eat it too. You've heard that a million times on this channel, and I'm not going to stop saying it. You can eat your cake. Gunsai Touge, along with the average mountain pass, is going to be more bumpy than Singapore and Baku. There's much more unforgiving undulations and cambers and corners. And then the other problem is it's quite narrow. It doesn't give a whole lot of overtaking space. But you know very well that when it's Alonso, Piastri, Hamilton, Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, Kevin Magnussen, Esteban Ocon, overtaking is not a bother for them. It's not even a thought. And also the other thing, the excuse of, oh no, the Touge is way too narrow. What about Monaco? Fact is, for new places there's also money and status involved. But anyway, let's still go through the Gunsai Touge review. Yes, the true Gunsai. Listen to the sound of that engine. There's a straight and a right-hander. It's downhill, slightly flat as it goes to the next right-hander. Then it's straight, slight uphill. Sweeping right-hander, left hand, corner. Sweeping right again. Then it comes to the start of the battleground. The right-hander. This also changes angle just like at Imola. Look at this. You enter and it's quite a big angle, then it's a straight road, and then it's a bigger angle. Then it's slightly bigger, a little bit of a straight road, and then it's immediately to the right-hander. Slight downhill. And it gets slightly faster the more he goes. Downhill, and then it's the uphill. Level ground. Aggressive left-hander. Then it's the hairpin, aggressive hairpin, aggressive downhill, and then it's the left-hander. This left-hander chokes drivers a lot, because you can easily fall for having the completely wrong line and having your car angled at the completely wrong angle, having your momentum pressing, leaning on the wrong side of the car. the uphill very fast through here. In this corner, you think you can take really fast, but actually, yeah, it's a little slower than it looks, even though it's an uphill. Very bumpy. I like those parts. Levels out a little bit, then uphill again. Very aggressive uphill. Left-hander. Just a fast series of bends, sculpted by the mountain. This is a true racetrack, the mountain pass. I love it. And this is one of my favorite parts, to be honest. These corners are slightly more rounded and less edge, but no corner on this Touge is a perfect shape. What I mean is, if at first glance, the entry of the corner looks like it's going to be just a circle, sweeper, wow, it's not that. You'll realize, oh, it's kind of straightened out. And then, oh, big angle, I don't want to crash. I'm loving those plays. These corners are slightly more rounded than all the other corners on the track. Rounded left-hander, right-hander, left-hander, right-hander, uphill hairpin. I love this corner. Right, left, right. This is an aggressive hairpin also. Well, it's uphill. And the uphill starts in the middle of the hairpin. Very much like the Stelvio pass. Slide right, left, right, uphill, hairpin. It's like, take that. I don't care about your front bumper getting scratched by me. Oh, I love Gunsai Touge so much. And that's it. Well, that's where it slowed down, but you can take laps on this Touge. This can be a circuit. Imagine this on the F1 calendar. Overtaking would be crazy. Don't tell me this can't be on the F1 calendar. Don't tell me it's too narrow to overtake. They overtake at Monaco. Monaco's on the calendar. Gunsai should also be on the F1 calendar. Final answer, I'm not sure if they will like the bumpy roller coaster. They're very used to Silverstone, which is not bad. Silverstone is awesome. But the Touge is a different animal. And I mean, it's a road in the middle of a jungle on a mountain. Hosting a Grand Prix would be quite tough, quite a lot of work. But who knows, maybe it'll just work out. I'ma email the FIA, tell them to put Gunsai on the calendar. Gunsai and all other tracks that we reviewed in this video, they have one thing in common. They break cars and drivers. Why? Because nature designed them. But here's the thing, that's not a bad thing. The cars are too tamed. Let them be a little tougher. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's video on Pistonfury. Tell me if you're enjoying this content. Check your petrol heads.